Do you agree that you don't have to be above average? 100 years ago is only in our time. Those men from hundreds of years ago were not just above average, they were exceptional men. All the men you're talking about, I've mentioned before. Think of the famous examples of companions or Sahaba or the Prophet ﷺ himself. All of those were exceptional men. Men who fulfilled one of those three criterion: power, wealth, status. Sometimes all three in the case of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anh. If you don't have one of those three things, you can't command the respect of women like that. You can't. Stick to your one wife, akhi. Play in your level, in your league. Stay there. If you want to level up, well, you're going to have to level up. You want another wife, you're going to have to level up first. Then she'll tolerate it. She won't be happy, but she'll tolerate it because she knows, you know what? This man, he's one in a million. It's going to be very unlikely for me to find another man like him. And I'm speaking from experience. I am telling you, because I was an average man, my wives knew they weren't really losing much in me. And I feel ashamed to say it, to be honest with you, but it's the truth. They weren't really losing much in me because I was average. There's average men everywhere. Everywhere. They're a dime a dozen. So you want to make this system work, you are going to have to level up. Let's have a look at the questions. Okay, Ghara. I've been banned on TikTok again. I don't know why. This morning I just got a notification from TikTok that I'm banned. But I prefer to do my lives on Instagram anyway because I can save them, you see, and I can repurpose the content and put it on YouTube. But for debate purposes, I do like to do that on TikTok. Yes, I watch Kevin every now and again. Younger, I do watch him every now and again. Okay, if you want to come live with me, Hannah, you missed the crux of the live. I'll save it, you can go over it afterwards. If you want to come live with me, send me a request, or if you have any questions, put them in the thing. So, marry a gold digger. I'm not saying marry a gold digger. It's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying you need to make peace with female nature. Female nature is, look, women get pregnant. Women hold the babies. That puts them in a position of vulnerability. That means she's looking for what? Security. That means the more security you can provide her, the more attractive to her you are. It's human nature. We cannot help it because she's the vulnerable one. So, yes, the more security you're able to provide her, not one of those ways is in the form of wealth, then the more attractive you are to her. But if you're average Donny, you're average Don, and you want 2, 3 wives, Habibi, what are you talking about? Relax yourself. Calm down. Calm down. You're going to wreck your family, the current family that you have, because you're average. You are average. Your earnings are average. Your character is average. Your akhlaq is average. Your knowledge, your intellect, your maturity, average. You're an average Donny. Hoping for above average outcomes. It don't work like that. You got to level up first. Right. I was on Clubhouse yesterday, sister. I was on Clubhouse just yesterday. Graham sent a question. Where is it? Right. Graham, I don't know how long you've been watching my content for, but I talk about this a lot. I have spoken about it many times. For men in particular, the attraction is the first hurdle that a woman has to pass for us to be interested in her. If she doesn't pass that hurdle, then we can't take it any further. Have you seen Donovan Sharp on YouTube? He's very knowledgeable on females. I've never heard of him. I'll check him out, inshallah. I've never heard of him. Right. Bro, you probably answered this one already, but how can I find out if a girl is genuine and doesn't have an agenda against me? Give me more information. What type of agenda? She wants to kill you? What agenda are we talking about here? Or she wants your money? What is it? What is power in money, power and wealth? Hassam, I don't understand the question. Please rewrite it. All right, live plug. Just one right now. Just one. Just one wife. If you want to come on live with me, send me a request, by the way, yeah? Okay, agenda-wise. So how do you know if a woman doesn't have an agenda? So, gentlemen, if you want to ensure that you're not just marrying a gold digger, a woman who just wants you for your money, then you're going to have to make sure you don't flaunt your money during the courting phase. The classic mistake that men make, I've been guilty of this in the past, is we want to impress the woman that we're courting. So what do? You take out the beautiful car, you put your nice watch on, you look suited and booted and so on and so forth. You're trying to project an image of prosperity and wealth. And within reason, you should obviously make yourself look nice and so on, but you shouldn't be trying to stunt. If you've got a nice watch, you got a beautiful Breitling or a Rolex, you leave that thing at home. You got a beautiful Mercedes, AMG, you leave that thing at home. Take the Corsa. Take something average, something regular, something basic. You know, your clothes look nice, by all means. I'm not saying don't look nice, but keep it looking like professional. Not like you're going to some type of upper class dinner. Keep it professional. Because if you start projecting images of supreme wealth and prosperity and so on, then you're going to attract the wrong type of fish. You put that type of bait out, you're going to attract that type of fish. You with me? So resist the urge, the temptation to overly flaunt your material belongings. That's the best advice I can give you. What do you mean by power? Obviously, wealth is how much money we have. Power, bro. Power. What's power? Think about it. Political influence, for example. Okay, when I say power, the Prophet ﷺ, he was ultimately the Khalif of the Ummah, right? Umar al-Khattab, Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, they were ultimately the Khalif of the Ummah after the Prophet ﷺ died. That's power. Power is influence, period. Power is the ability to influence. The more people you're able to influence, the more powerful you are. My pleasure, Akh. You're welcome. This is a good question. How do I intend to look for another wife? Well, I'm not looking right now. But if ever I did, I've never used apps. How do I say this without it coming off wrong? Sisters tend to come to me. That's how it's been over the years. I haven't gone out of my way to find them. But I don't know anything about apps. Possibly I would use an app. I don't know. I'm really out of touch with this stuff. But when I did it in the past, I never had to use any of this stuff. So I don't know. I hear lots of good things about these apps. Allahu A'lam. I don't know. Yes, the answer to this is a simple yes. Once you have power, doesn't status follow? Yes, they go hand in hand. What do you mean? What do you say about average man being able to keep multiple women by their sexual prowess? Is that a factor we should consider? You mean a man he knows how to sexually please multiple women? That's one factor, don't get me wrong, obviously. But if you're broke, you're still broke. Like, you might be able to give it to her good, but if you're broke, you're broke. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't recommend it if you're broke. I really don't. Ooh. When do you see yourself being ready to marry again? Say, that's a great question. It's not really when do I see myself being ready, it's when do I want to. Because I've done polygyny, the novelty has worn off. And I'm a lot more realistic about the realities of polygyny. So it's not really about when do I want to, when will I be ready to, it's when do I want to. And right now I don't want to. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't know. Could be a few years, who knows. This is a good question. How do you build status? This is a great question. Well, you need to become successful at whatever it is that you do. The more successful you become at whatever it is you do, the more influence you will be able to have. The more of a following you will attract, the more influence you'll be able to attract and have upon others. And your status builds as a result. It's like a natural carry-on from being successful at whatever it is that you do. That's how status builds. Usually that means picking one thing and dedicating minimum of 10 years to it. Minimum of 10 years. That's how you blow up. That's how you become successful and build status. All right? Energy goes where attention flows. I like that. That's good. That's a good one. Money talks. It absolutely does talk, Abdurrahim. Kind of overlook this. It absolutely does talk. I mean, after sport and exercise science. That's what I studied. I wouldn't recommend Donovan Sharp as he does not cater towards Muslim audience. Neither does Kevin Samuels. Neither does Alpha Male Strategies. Neither does Rich Cooper. Take the good, leave the bad. Obviously, in those circles, in those communities, promiscuity is rife and it's not a problem. Take the good, leave the bad. There's a lot of good things that they do speak about. So although I don't know who this Donovan Sharp is, I'm going to check him out for sure. Okay, what's your opinion on getting married early as a young man? You see, there's two answers I can give you to this. There's the non-Muslim answer and the Muslim answer. The non-Muslim answer is don't do it. Period. The Muslim answer is you cannot fulfill your sexual needs except in a marriage situation. And by marriage I mean nikah, by the way. Yeah? You cannot, and even in Christianity, by the way, it prohibits fornication. It does. It's just that, I don't know, somehow modern day Christian don't take those laws as seriously as Muslims do. There's Muslim fornicators, don't get it twisted. I'm just saying it's a lot more of a thing for Muslims. So what's your opinion on getting married early? To answer your question, if you're able to wait. If you can't, get married. If you can wait and be patient for a little bit, you can establish yourself a little bit, you can focus on your graft without committing haram, then wait a little bit. Wait until you get to your mid-20s at least. But if you can't, then you have to marry. You don't have a choice. This is a good question. Would you be content in just being married to one person for the rest of your life? I mean, I haven't lived the rest of my life, so it's hard for me to answer that. But if you were to ask me now, I'm very content now, alhamdulillah. I'm very content with my wife. I think either way I'd be content. Look, when it comes to polygyny, it's not about content. I'm going to be honest with you. Because oftentimes men don't do it because they are discontent or uncontent. No, they do it because they want to, because they have that desire, that urge. So it's not coming from a place of lack. Do you see? It's not coming from a place of lack. Yes, I'm very happy with my wife. I can't speak for the rest of my life. I'm very happy right now with just one wife. I hope that answers your question. Rihanna, you obviously support polygyny, not polygamy. Polygamy, a woman can have multiple husbands. Do you think a man should settle for one high-value female or two divorcees with kids? I mean, what's a high-value female, firstly and foremostly? What are you defining as a high-value female? If by high value you mean high desirability, well, that's when she's young, right? The most desirable women are young women. All age brackets of men, up to 60 years old, the study I was looking at recently, they're all attracted to the same type of woman in her early 20s. Okay, which means what? As she ages, that desirability diminishes. It's just natural law. So to answer your question, do you think a man should settle for one high-value female or two divorcees? Why do we have to make it that type of conversation? If he's a high-value man, high net worth, status, power, etc., he has the pick of the bunch. He can choose whatever women he wants. If he's an average man on an average salary with an average character, with an average level of maturity, I say to this brother, Habibi, relax. Be grateful you have even one wife and chill. Don't worry about second wife and third wife. That's my advice to this brother based upon my own personal experience of exercising polygyny as a low-value man. It's very hard to maintain because your women don't respect you like that because you're average. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, how do you keep your girlfriends or wives interested in you? If I was to answer this with one thing, it would be make sure you are on your purpose. Whatever your purpose is right now, you might not have found your life purpose, But whatever you are pursuing right now, make sure you are committing to it. You're ambitious and you're committing to it. Women love men who are going somewhere. Anywhere. Just go somewhere ambitious. Some high lofty goal. Some really impressive place. Just be on your graft. That's the best advice I can give you, because it shows them, it tells them, this man is going places. This man is special. He's going somewhere. That's the best advice I can give you. The one thing you should do. Okay, answered those two questions. So don't they all follow through then, because once has wealth? Okay, younger. So don't they all follow through then, because once one has wealth, he acquires power? Possibly, potentially, but if you have money, you can still ruin your status and your power by doing stupid things, right? So you'll still have money, but you do stupid things, so you ruin your ability to be viewed as powerful or a man of status. Okay, Sadie, great question. Would you prefer all younger wives, or would you rather have a range of ages so they have different qualities? All younger wives. And I've mentioned the reason for this before. It's not just because they're at their most beautiful. It's not just because they're at their most fertile. It's also because they carry the least amount of baggage, life baggage. All of us, men and women alike, as we progress through the years, we pick up our baggage, our damage. All of us. It's just the way it goes. And the younger you are, the less damage you have. And this is very, very important. Damaged men and women alike, but in my experience of dealing with damaged women, man, it's hard work. It's hard work. Really hard work. So, younger. Okay, I'm going to answer this one more time. Back in the day, polygamy was a very common thing. You didn't have to be above average. No, my friend, back in the day, everyone was above average. It's just that because everyone was above average, it looked like the norm. But actually, everyone was above average. I will prove it to you. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Bad times create strong men. The back in the day people you're referring to lived in bad times. Bad times create what? Strong men. So those men across the board in general were strong men. What type of times do we live in right now if you're living in the West or in a developed country anywhere in the world? We live in good times. What does good times do? Produces weak, soft, spoiled brat men. You can see by the type of topics that consume the majority of our attentional space on social media. Is it a he? Is it a she? What's the pronoun? You know, same-sex toilets, utter garbage. Garbage. Good times create weak men. So right now we are living in a time where where the majority of men, I should say, are below average or just cutting average. But the time you're referring to, the back in the day, those men were, in general, exceptional men. So do you see the difference? You can't make the demands of an exceptional man whilst you yourself are average. And I'm not referring to you specifically. I'm just speaking in general. It doesn't work. Do it if you want. Allah has given you that right. You can want what you want. But I'm just saying, you must expect the repercussions of that. You're making above average demands with a below average output and performance as a man. There's going to be a clash. Majority of men now snowflakes. Yep, absolutely. Would you say if a man is good looking that women would be willing to put up with lack of wealth? Ladies, I leave the question to you. I already have my answer, but why should I speak on your behalf when you're here to answer it for me? Would you put up with a man who's good looking but broke? Please answer the question, ladies. Yes or no? No need to explain. Yes or no? Would you put up with a man who's good looking, bus broke? So we've got no, we've got lol, we've got no. No. Another no. Anyone else? No, bro. Absolutely not. You're thinking like a man. You're thinking, I like attractive women. I don't care if she's broke. That's you. Don't project. Don't project. Women, firstly and foremostly, you need to pass their security, your ability to provide security. Do you pass that qualification? Are you able to provide her with a certain level of security? Then we can start talking about your looks and your six-pack and what you look like and so on. This is a classic case of projecting. Because we don't mind beautiful broke women, we think women will accept us as good looking and broke. No, doesn't work like that. Sadie, yes, but again, that's still fulfilling your hypergamous needs. Hypergamous needs. That is, you're betting on him going somewhere one day. It's like when you make an investment in a business. You know you're not going to get a return tomorrow, but 4 years from now, you might see a return. So it's still hypergamy, either way you look at it. Yes, it's a bet. You're making a bet, but it's a bet that you have calculated to be a pretty reliable bet. I don't understand this. Why am... Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. Can a married high value man want... Okay, let's have a look at this. Can a married high value man demand a 20-year-old virgin as a second wife? Why are divorcees and single mothers typically the second wife? Okay, I'll answer that very simply. Because virgins are more desirable. Okay, let's leave virgin. Let's just say she's a woman who doesn't have kids. A woman who brings kids to the table, immediately that's an X for a man. Because that's additional responsibility. He's going to have to feed kids that are not his. He's going to have to raise kids that don't look at him as his father, a biological father. They could turn around one day and say to him, you know what? You're not my dad. Piss off. And they'll be well within their right to say it. There's no family tie there. Right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, with divorcees, look, men stamp women. Women who've been through failed relationships, particularly multiple failed relationships, those stamps tend to accumulate and it tends to ruin their ability to emotionally connect with the next man. If you don't believe me, I want you to go right now onto Netflix and I want you to watch this program. It's called The Single Wives. Some of you may have watched it already. There's 4 women on there. 3 of them are divorcees. 1 of them is a widow. Billahi, go and watch it. Tell me which one was most emotionally able to reconnect and which one was not. I want to answer it for you, but I don't want to ruin it for you. The Single Wives. Go and see. Go and see. The one who had the most failed relationships, see how she is with men. The widow, see how she is with men. The difference is night and day. But please, don't take my word for it. It's on Netflix. You can watch it right now. It's called The Single Wives. Check it out. I hope that answers the question. Okay. What's your opinion on marrying back home? I believe there's a lower entry requirements for men. However, it promotes men to stay stagnant and not... I can't see the rest of the question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. I have a friend who married a sister from back home. They're both ethnically from the same place, but he was raised here in the UK. She was raised over there. He brought her to the UK. They got divorced a few years later, and he cited the main reason, he said to me, was, Mahdi, we couldn't connect on any meaningful level at all. Conversation, like understanding the jokes, the banter. There was no connection, none at all. We just couldn't relate to each other. And I think, from what I can gather from this, is that it is quite important for you to marry someone who kind of gets your culture. You might share the same ethnic origin, but that doesn't mean you'll get each other. Doesn't mean you'll get each other. So again, I am just speaking anecdotally. That was his experience, and I found it to be quite profound, and it made a lot of logical sense to me. So I'm sharing that with you, and you can make your decision from there. Oh, I love this question. This is a great question. What would you advise your 17 to 20-year-old self, knowing what you know now? Get on your purpose sooner. Stop wasting time on meaningless, trivial things that are not that important, things that won't contribute to building a legacy for yourself, and get started right now on your purpose. Get grafting, get grinding right now, and start focusing on your personal development, as you can see behind me, now. That's what I would tell myself. Don't waste time. Get off the Fortnite, get off the games, start grafting now as if you're 40 and you're broke. You do that as a 17-year-old, by the time you're 40, you will not be broke. You will not be regretting having wasted so many years. Khalid, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I hope that answers that question. That's a very good question. Good question. Ushra, can a man romantically love and care for more than one woman? Yes, he can. It's actually unlimited, the number of women he can love and care for. It's been limited by Allah to 4, but yes. The only way I can describe it to you is, think of kids, okay? I don't know if you're a mother, Ushra, but if you're a mother, you can relate. You have a child, you love the child. You have a second child, you don't now love the first child less, and the second one gets half of the love. It doesn't work like that. No, you have a whole new thing of love for the second one, and the third one, and on and on. Exactly the same. Hope that answers the question. This is a good question. Man like Abdul. Were all 3 of your wives jealous if you spent more time with one than the other? How did you deal with problems dealing with all 3? Great question. Short answer, yes. I'll give you an example. If I said I'm going to be at a particular time at one wife's house, like let's say I'm going to be there for 1 p.m. and I'm late by an hour, like by a significant amount of time, immediately they get upset. It's like, how come you're late for an hour? You spent more time with her. You love her more than me. Blah, 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 blah. Again, I think much of the reason that contributed towards them having those feelings towards me in the first place was because I was low value. Do you see? Do you see the problems? The more low value you are as a man, the less patience your women have for you. They have less patience for you. They tolerate less of your crap. It could be something as simple as turning up 10 minutes late. But because I was inherently low value, like I was on eggshells. I was treading on eggshells. It was a nightmare. It was a bloody nightmare. An absolute nightmare. And that's why I would not recommend or do it myself again unless you become high value, because then you can check your women. Then you can be like, excuse me, what? Be quiet. You're talking about women. Do you understand? You can't do that when you're low value, when you're average. Yeah, it's funny, I know. Some women will marry a man for their money but will have affairs with people they love. This is called alpha seed, beta need. That is, these type of women, they look for the alpha to sleep with, and then the beta to provide for them. The trick is to become an alpha who's able to provide. That's the magic potion. If you can do that, then she won't want to sleep with anyone else. Again, I've mentioned it before, Sadie. When a woman loves and desires her husband, she goes blind. She can't physically desire another man because she loves and desires this one. She can only do one at a time. She's only able to cheat when she doesn't desire her man anymore. That's when she can cheat. So the magic formula, gentlemen, is to not just be a provider, but to be that guy she would cheat with. Become that guy. Be that guy. You become that guy and you can provide. You've clocked it. You've unlocked the secret. You finished the game. That's it. You're champion. Number 1. Champ. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay, just boxing. In terms of the latter part of your question, I mean, I'm still in the middle of building that. But at what age did I get on my purpose? It all started for me around 25, I would say. I fell off somewhere in between for a couple of years. And then I got back on a couple of years ago. A few years ago now. So, yeah, alpha fox, beta box. That's exactly it. So yeah, to answer your question, about around 25 years old. Alpha fox, beta box. That's the one. Good question here. Islamic Seeds. Can a woman be the reason a man starts to focus on his purpose, or is that something he has to do himself? I mean, certainly in the beginning stages, like let's say he's not yet married to a woman and he wants to marry her, then she could serve as a great motivation for him to get on his purpose. The problem is, if he uses her as the motivation, once he marries her and he's got her and the novelty has worn off, as all novelties do, then he'll come off his purpose again. It has to be deeper than just doing it for women. And gentlemen, I'm speaking to you now. You can't want to become successful and be ambitious and so on just for women. No, the women is a side effect of your being on your purpose and successful. It's a side effect. But if you make them the focus, then by the time you have them, guess what happens? You lose that desire to want to carry on. You lose that desire to want to remain on your purpose. So she can certainly trigger it, but she won't be able to maintain it. Do you think children keep you on your purpose? No doubt about it. None at all. One of my biggest drivers are my children. No doubt about it. You can never divorce your kids. No doubt at all. It's a good question. What's the best way to become emotionally intelligent and understand how to react to emotions of women? Well, I'm still in the middle of learning this. I'm still a student. So I will only be able to give you a student's answer. And that is time and education. You can't rush this process. Learn as much as you can. Work on your personal development and learn to understand the opposite sex. Learn to understand relationship dynamics and so on. And all of that will take time. A long time. Men in particular, we take time to become mature. Around the age of 40 is when we start to grow up. I'm 31. I've still got a long way to go. Okay. How many kids do I have? You know, every time people ask me this, I forget. I think I have. That sounds so wrong. That sounds so bad. I believe I have 7. I think I have 7. But then I have a bunch of stepkids as well. So like 10, 11, something like this. Man, that sounded so bad. So who are the sisters supposed to settle with if there's such a lack of driven men? It's very worrying. It's not about settling, sister. It's about punching at your level. All right. If you are in your prime, right? And not just you're in your prime years of youth, beauty and fertility, but you have a high level of femininity. You're able to respect a man. You're able to be submissive to a man. And you can do all of that to a high level. Then you're able to choose from the best of men. And I've answered this question before as a business question. You need to define what type of man it is you're looking for and then find out where those type of men hang out. But before you do that, you must ask yourself, do I qualify? What do those type of men, those high level, high value men, what type of women are they looking for? You have to ask yourself that. What type of women are those elite men looking for? Then if you qualify, shoot your shot. Go for it. Great question, Bilal. Thank you for asking this. Do you think men can receive unconditional love nowadays? No. The only beings that receive unconditional love is children. Even us men, we don't love our women unconditionally, by the way. If your woman was to cheat on you today, would you still love her? No. Unconditional love is a myth. It's a romantic myth. It doesn't exist. And women definitely don't love us unconditionally. If suddenly we stopped performing, we come off our purpose, we're no longer as driven, we become average or worse still, below average, guess what? Eventually they're going to stop loving you. And men the same. If your woman was to cheat on you today, you'd probably stop loving her. At least I hope you would. You know? So unconditional love is a myth. The only creatures on this planet that have unconditional love is kids and dogs. I don't own a dog, but I heard that people love them unconditionally. Kids, that's it. Right. What do you think of females that say men are trash but still want their Prince Charming to come along? I have a sneaky suspicion that women who like to push this notion of the men are trash notion, I have a sneaky suspicion that they do it because they have been quite unsuccessful with men. It's like the whole sour grapes fable. Do you remember the fox that was trying to run and grab the grape from the grape tree? And he would take a few steps back, run forward, leap, and miss it. He'd take a few steps back again, sprint forward, jump, leap, and miss it. And he tried this 3 or 4 times. Then in the end, he turned around and said, you know what? Those grapes were probably sour anyway. I think it's a classic case of sour grapes. Women who push the men are trash notion tend to be single. You find they're single. You're never going to hear a woman who's happily married say men are trash. Sadie, you're happily married, from what I can tell. Are men trash? Let's see what Sadie says. Because she speaks very highly of her husband. I doubt she will say men are trash. Those type of women tend to be women who haven't had much success with men. So sometimes you've got to peel the onion and have a look at what's really going on. People say something but mean something else. Yeah, Lou Jane, I hope I said that right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. When a man tries to take a girl's number and she says no and he says you're ugly anyway. Same thing. Sadie, she's in the chat. You'll see her. Sadie Leonard. There's a few good questions from Amina. Let's just knock a couple of them out. You talk about men not caring if a woman is broke. So do you encourage women not working? I'm not saying that I'm not encouraging women to work. I'm simply saying, well, a high value man anyway. I should make a distinction here. An average man wants you to work. Let me make that very clear. An average man wants you to work. Shall I tell you why? Because he wants you to pay half the bills. When a man says he wants his woman to work, is because he expects you to take on 50% of the household burden. Read between the lines. Dig the onion layer deeper. Peel back the onion layers more. That's what he's saying. Habibti, I want you to pay half the bills because I don't earn enough. Now, a high value man, he doesn't want you to work. And I'll tell you why. A high value man, he's so busy that when he comes home, he just wants a woman to just take care of him and pamper him like a baby. That's it. Like literally. Because he's so tired, he's exhausted. He's doing 60, 80, 100-hour weeks. He just wants his wife to just like be there. Food is ready, house is looking nice, kids are on point. That's what he wants. So it depends on the type of man you're looking for. When a man says he wants you to work, he wants a working woman, it's because he wants you to pay half the bills. This is a good question. A bit personal, but from your experience, was it hard to connect with stepchildren and vice versa? In my personal experience, not at all, alhamdulillah. I think I've had kids from very young. Yeah, I had my first kid at 17. I had 3 kids by 19. I have extensive experience of children from a very young age. So for me, connecting with any children is very easy for me. Kids are my life. Like, I love kids. And it's always been very easy for me. I have a tremendous relationship, alhamdulillah, with all my stepkids. But it might be difficult for some men. Men, for example, let's say they've never had kids before. And now he's coming into a situation, let's say he's marrying a divorcee and she's got 2 kids. He might find it hard to connect with them. He may well do. So it's going to be an individual thing. Okay. A high value man would not wish for you to work, but will still allow you. Okay, again, I'll say it again, Luja. A high value man has an expectation that you don't work. And if you want to work, like, it's one thing working, okay, let's just be clear here. Working is one thing, but then a career woman is another thing. Let's say you got a part-time job, or you got a passion, you got a hobby, and it's a business, it's a little business you got going. That's fine, no problem. The type of women that high value men avoid is career women. Women who are looking to move up the career ladder. Those are the type of women they avoid like the plague, because they're too busy. There's no relationship. He's super busy, she's super busy, there's no relationship. They avoid those women, career women. But like a regular job, that's not a big deal if she drops it or not, or she can easily relocate and so on. No problem, that's fine. I encourage my wife to have her own little thing on the side so that she has something to keep her mind stimulated. Oof. This question is going to start a war. But how can a man know if a girl is still virgin? You know what, bro? I don't know. Some of these women are savages, bro. Body count high as hell. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. But generally speaking, a virgin girl, she tends to be quite shy and timid in the way she speaks with men. She's quite shy. Non-virgins, no. But bro, I'm not the man to answer that. Allahu A'lam. Why should the woman have to sacrifice her career? Asma, you don't. Marry an average man. He wants you to have a career. You don't have to sacrifice your career. You see, you want to have it all. On the one hand, you want a high value man. And on the other hand, you want to have your own career. No. You don't get to have it all. You get to choose. So you want to have your own career, no problem. Marry an average man because he'll really appreciate your salary. You're paying half the bills. Would you say polygyny is outdated? I'm from the US and girls here always say that they want a man who's only married to them. Yep. By the way, no disrespect to my American brothers and sisters. I'm presuming you're American, but I find a lot of the Islamic sentiments amongst a lot of the Americans is extremely moist. I don't know what the hell they're feeding you there. I don't know what they're feeding you. I heard one brother say the other day on a live, if a Muslim is gay, if a Muslim man or woman is gay, I still got love for that brother. I love him for the sake of Allah. I have one question for you. How do you love someone for the sake of Allah whom Allah himself does not love? My brain went into overload. It nearly exploded. How does that work? But anyway, to answer the question, what I will say is this. What I've started the live. I recommend, Abdul, that you go to the beginning of this live because I addressed this question at the beginning of the live. But when a woman says that, it's what she's saying is, I won't accept it from an average man, from an average dude who earns an average salary with an average personality. That's what he said. That's what she's saying. But best believe you brought her a man of power, wealth, and status. She'll be the fourth wife. The issue is us men, we're too average, making above average demands. Do you understand? Go back to the beginning of this live at the end. I'm going to save it. I've gone through this in detail. Right. Why do you feel women prefer roadman type guys over ambitious good men? Because roadmen are ambitious, bro. Don't get it twisted. Roadmen are ambitious. And not just that. Roadmen, the proverbial roadman, by the way, they have an edge to them. They've got an edge. And women see that. They see that this man can protect me. It comes down to basic human instinct once again. The proverbial roadman, he can protect me. He's a dangerous man. Women like dangerous men, by the way. If you don't have the ability, the potential to be dangerous, you're not patient. You're just a rabbit in the headlights. You're a rabbit. That's what you are. If you don't have the ability to be lethal, to inflict lethal force, to be dangerous, you're not a patient man. You're a rabbit. Rabbits don't have the ability to inflict harm, no matter how much they try. So The proverbial roadman has the ability to inflict harm. They see that as he's able to protect me. It's quite logical. Right. Okay, I'll answer this quite honestly. What type of man do I consider myself to be right now? Average or above average? Average. That's my answer. I consider myself to be average. Abdul, I've seen a question. I don't want to get into that on Instagram. I might get banned, bro. Right. This is very true. This is very true, Graham. Once she pays half, the man loses half the power in the household. This is very true, and rightly so too, because she's paying half the bills. Okay, Asma has another good question. Wouldn't you prefer a woman with an education and looking to her career instead of staying home and pampering you when you come home? Okay, I'll answer this question again, Asma. Firstly and foremostly, all my wives were educated. Yeah, my wife right now, she did her master's. Like, there's a minimum level of education. I'm not asking for some illiterate, like, woman who can't even read and write. That's not what I'm saying here. There's a minimum level of education that we need, that a woman needs to have, so that she can conduct herself in a sort of like, in a respectable manner, right? Typically, that's a bachelor's degree. Typically. But in terms of career, I've said it before. Maybe you're not understanding. Do you know how difficult it is to become a high value man? Like, it's incredibly hard to break through that ceiling. Very, very hard. 60, 80, 100 hour weeks, consecutive, back to back, month after month, year after year. You don't want to come home to a career woman who's going through the same grind as you. So again, I'll say to you again, Asma, if you want a man who doesn't mind you having a career, that's okay. You can have that. He'll make you pay half the bills. So know what it is you want, and then go for it. Shoot your shot at whatever it is you want. But you can't have it both. Say yes, absolutely. You can be educated and intelligent and still be a housewife. This is a good question. Why does the media portray a man to love one true girl and show the other women they can have as what they call hoes? Well, the media portrays whatever the hell they want to portray. You know, they portray whatever the hell they want to portray. But the truth is that a man can love and treat with respect and kindness and so on multiple women. Many men don't, but it is doable. Media can portray all sorts of nonsense. I don't know about this. McGregor beats his wife in front of his children and she never asked for divorce. I don't know if this is true. I'm presuming you're talking about Conor McGregor. I don't know if that's true. But let's just presume it's true. Well, Conor McGregor's got the P, baby. Conor McGregor's got the P. That's why. How many Conor McGregors are there in the world? Not many. Abdul, I'd love to come on your podcast. Hit me up in my DM, inshallah. I work, but my man still wouldn't let me pay any bills. Good for you. Great. Fantastic. And look, working is one thing. I'm talking about career women. When a man is demanding a career woman, he wants a career. Yes, please. Habibti, please have a career woman. Oh, by the way, can you please pick up half the bills? That's the type of man I'm referring to. Okay. How to explain the term high value, because a lot of people find it misogynistic. Why is it misogynistic exactly? I can't understand why it would be misogynistic, but okay, a high value man is I can explain it to you very simply. A high value man is a man whom many women are attracted to and many other men want to be like. Think of any man that fits that description. A high value man. You'll tend to find loads of women wish they could be with him and loads of men try to model themselves after him. That's a high value man. And of course, the ultimate high value man is who? The Prophet ﷺ. What do you say? Yeah. What do you say about those women who F many men in their prime and then settle with beta provider? I say that they are being smart. They're looking out for themselves, is what they're doing. And if you happen to be but not you, Graham, but I'm saying if you as an individual happen to be the beta provider that she's settled with, well, good luck. Every time she makes love to you, she's thinking of that alpha. She's not thinking of you. And that's why I say you want to become the alpha provider. That's what you want to become. The only way to do that is not just getting on your graft and your purpose and making the money. That's one piece of the puzzle. Now you need to understand the game of women. You put those two together, voila. You are the ultimate prize. Okay. Abdul, I've already answered young marriage. Go back in the live, inshallah. You'll see. Younger, it's all about perspective, bro. I don't want to put this question up on the screen, but you know what you wrote. It's all about perspective. It's all about where you want to go. Do you understand? It's all about what you believe to be high value. Do that. Can a man be of high value without power, money, and status? Can a man be of high value without power, money, and status? No, you can't. Impossible. You don't fit the criteria. It's like saying, can I be eligible to enter Harvard University with a 1.9 GPA? For my American brothers and sisters out there, it's an impossibility. No, you need that, whatever it is, 4.5 GPA, 4.9 GPA to get into Harvard. And for the UK, for my UK brothers and sisters, you want to get into Oxford or Cambridge, well, you better have 10 A stars at GCSE, you better have 4 A's at A level, and hope for the best. Still, you can't get into Cambridge with B's and C's at high school level and A level. It doesn't work. So the answer is no. Legacy, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How do you understand the game of women? You know, a game has a negative connotation. I can see why some people don't like that term. But it is a bit like that sometimes, to be honest. How can you understand the game? I recommend, there's a whole bunch of good YouTubers. Now, the YouTubers I'm going to mention to you, so some of the Muslims might get upset. Take the good and leave the bad. AMS, Alpha Male Strategies, really good, man. Teaches you a lot about female nature. Female nature. We need to learn it. Just check out AMS, Alpha Male Strategies. He knows what he's talking about. I know he's a promiscuous man. Take the good, leave the bad. How old am I? I am 31. Do you think age is just a number? I mean, age is definitely a number, but it's not just a number. "40 and unmarried, what to do? Asking for a family member. Has the sister been married before? Does she have kids? What's her situation?" I can't really answer it without more information. How many times has she been married before? If she has, does she have children? Does she want to have children? What type of man is she looking for? I can't answer it just like that. Okay, got some good ones here from Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr, what do you think about high mahar and low mahar? Look, the sunnah is to have low mahar. That's the sunnah. But I'll say to the sisters this. Yes, it's true. You can ask for whatever you like in your mahar. So, if you want to have a high mahar, you need to understand that the type of men who are able to afford that tend to be men in their 40s and 50s. Don't bring your high mahar request to this poor broke guy who just finished university. For those of you who don't know what mahar is, it means dowry. Don't bring that £50,000 mahar request to my guy who just finished university dead broke. Take it to a 50-year-old man. But you're not interested in a 50-year-old man, are you? No, you don't want to go that old. Well, understand what it is that you want and then adjust accordingly. You can't have it all. You can't. Any tips? Yeah, this is a good one. Any tips for young men on what they should work on before they think about marriage? They need to work on themselves. Men, we take ages to mature. The sooner you can get into your personal development, the better. You need to be on your graft, on your grind, and working on your personal development. Jim Rohn said, work on your job and you'll make a living. Work on yourself and you'll make a fortune. Work on yourself. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this live, inshallah. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it. The time goes so quickly. And actually, before I finish, there was a gentleman who messaged me the other day thinking of committing suicide. My message is to this young man right now and to anyone who is thinking about these notions. If you're feeling miserable, depressed to the point of you want to commit suicide, it's probably because you feel useless in this world. You feel like you have no value. You feel like you're not needed. It's probably related and connected to that. You feel like there's no purpose for you being here. What's the point in me being here? I should just end it. So my brother, this message is to you. And my message to you is this. Happiness comes from serving. One more time. Happiness comes from serving. Do you know why I do these lives? Shall I tell you why I do these lives? Because it brings me happiness. I feel like I'm serving. I feel like I'm sharing. The time can fly by like it has already, and I don't even notice it. I feel of use. I feel like I have benefited the people. This makes me happy. This brings me happiness. So find something that you can make yourself useful, where people will benefit from you. Then those feelings, those emotions will begin to slowly subside. That's my advice to you, my guy. Take care. Thank you very much for joining, guys. Have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If you want to hit me in the inbox for any other questions, feel free to do so. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.